Well, good evening and welcome to a special edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy and I'm going to be joined tonight by one of our regulars, Glenn. How are you, Glenn? Are you there?
I'm all right. Doesn't seem like a week. Doesn't sound like a week ago we were talking about Wasps in Carbon. We've gone some ways no further forward, and in other ways we've got a bit of insight. So yeah, it's been a funny old week, ain't it?
It sure has. Yes, we're here again. I mean, we've heard the news today. Unfortunately for Wasps fans, I feel really sorry for them. I feel really sorry for the members of staff and all that going out there. But unfortunately, they've gone into administration. So we thought we'd do another special edition, and Glenn's kindly come on with us to have a little chat about it. So if there's anyone out there watching live on YouTube or Twitter, send us a message, and we can talk about your comments and everything else going. I mean, Glenn, we knew it was going to happen. We all thought it was going to happen. I mean, some people were saying it was going to happen tomorrow, Tuesday or Wednesday, but all the management and everyone, the administrators, they all met this afternoon down at the Wasp training ground, and it was announced they've gone bust.
Yeah, there's no one employed by them on the rugby, the netball side of it. I think even the training ground staff have gone. I think they've all pretty.
Oh, lost.
So yeah,
You there?
sorry, mate.
Yeah,
Sorry.
lost you there. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so just said they've basically cleared everyone out, which is quite surprising when you think about it. I didn't expect them to make everyone redundant. I thought they would still keep some form of players under contract for some time. So yeah, I'm surprised how sudden it's happened, and the CEO seemed quite still optimistic, which is bizarre when you've just basically been made redundant yourself and all your assets are basically free to go wherever they like. So yeah, it's very, very strange listening to it on CWR today, his comments.
Yeah, I mean, I heard some of the comments, and I mean, the only way forward probably is if they move back to London, isn't it? I mean, I really feel for the staff and the fans. I mean, we've been in this situation when we got took away to Northampton, came back, then we got took away again to Birmingham, and and we could have been in this situation probably about 5 or 6 years ago, couldn't we? Or even 10 years ago, we were virtually on the verge of going bust, and then Sisu came in with a rescue package. I mean, it is to feel confident. I mean, they've still got the business still got the ground, haven't they? I think they've said that they've going to appoint an administrator. Just come on the Telegraph tonight. So I think they've got 10 days, haven't they, to see if they can find someone, to buy the ground. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically, the long and short of it is because the CBS obviously has the COF game Wednesday night, has the rugby league game, the World Cup game on Friday. I think they've basically gone for the notice to appoint the administrators to buy like 10 days grace period, so they can obviously get the game on Wednesday night and they can obviously get Friday's game on. No Wasps games are going to be played. But obviously then some people I've seen on Twitter make some points. What's going to happen to the groundsman? Obviously last Saturday for the Burnley game, they had new stewarding. People on obviously come to light in the week later part of last week that they'd hired a new stewarding company. So yeah, it's all a bit weird because based on what Vaughan said, that he made a point and was quite vocal about the fact that CBS has been quite profitable and he's basically a gold mine on it. And if it wasn't for COVID, it kind of didn't help the situation, which is very interesting because I don't know who's going to want this CBS, and if you are going to want the CBS and it's such a profit, you're going to want to get it as cheap as possible to maximise the money you're going to make. You're not going to go and overpay on it.
Yeah, so, I think I heard Clive on the radio the other day saying that it needs a lot of money spending on it as well. It's starting to age, so whoever comes in wants to get it on the cheap, so they've got money to be able to do it up. So I think it's going to be a bit difficult. Whoever comes in to buy this ground. I mean, Mick's Davenport. Good evening, Mick. Thanks for joining us, buddy. He's got an evening, Miles and Glenn. I feel for the job losses and fans, but glad the insects have been fumigated. Yeah, I mean, you're talking on behalf of quite a lot of Coventry City fans there, but I think what we've got to remember is that, this could have been us 10 years ago. It could have even been us probably 5 or 6 years ago. So, I mean, I feel for the fans and the staff, but I mean, they came in, they've tried to jump all over our city when we've already got a rugby club in the city. I think if fans wanted to watch Premiership rugby, I think they should have gone and supported Coventry and got them promoted. I don't know what you think about that, Glenn.
Well, there's an interesting few conversations. I had a conversation with the guys from All Things Sky Blue. They do a weekly Twitter space, and one of the lads on there, Dan, said he'd heard a quite total left field rumour that Wasp could potentially look at doing something with Cov Rugby or ground sharing the butts or something like that. Because I was under the impression personally, I said quite openly on that space that I thought that's some done and dusted in Cov. But then it was weird at the end of the interview with Clive Eakin, Stephen Vaughan, he made a point of saying that they wanted to stay in Coventry, but then he added a little thing on at the end, which I thought was very interesting. He said Coventry or West Midlands, or say Coventry, West Midlands, or something like that. I thought, why mention the West Midlands? So that made me think, they've got something in mind. But I think they were almost doomed to failure once Cov left. I think you've got to appreciate they did a lot of good for the local community. I know, obviously, I'm from Bedworth, and they provided the stewards for the Armistice Day parade free of charge. They gave loads of tickets away for like fundraising and stuff. So they did do a lot of good. The problem is, money isn't the answer. Throwing money at it is never going to create a fan base. You've only got to look at like MK Dons. They're going to hit a ceiling because they haven't got the hardcore fans and the history. And I think that's the problem. Like Coventry Rugby Club has a history. I mean, I'm not a massive Coventry Rugby Club fan, but I remember beating Newcastle when Newcastle had Rob Andrew playing for them, and I think Cov beat them, which was like massive at the time, and that's going back years. And they've got a history, and I think Wasps never had that history here. And I think with the way they've been very unlucky with circumstances, but it doesn't hide the fact that they dug themselves into a hole, and you can't keep gambling money, as we saw with Derby. You can't. You can take a calculated risk, but you can't keep then chasing your losses, so to speak, to use like the casino. Once you lose, you don't want to bet again to try and win your money back because it only ends up in one way. You end up massively out of pocket and bankrupt, and that's what's happened. And I don't know, it was really weird listening to him. And obviously Clive spoke to the groundsman. The groundsman's like, "Oh, they've told us give us 3 days, and there might be good news." And yeah, I think the question I have is, well, two questions I have. One, which we obviously covered about Sisu was last week, is our Sisu going to come in and do something? And the question two is, is it the same party that wants Wasp who wants the CBS, or is it two totally different parties, or is there more than one party in the frame? And that's the big mystery at the moment. It almost seems now there's another little twist in the tail. It's like the next 3 days, the whole story will become clearer.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm reading here at the Telegraph is that Nations Radio's just asked. He's just said that. Good evening, Nation Radio. Anyway, Coventry. Is he right that the stadium's got to be sold within 2 weeks? Yeah, I think they've got. Which I've heard today is they've got 10 days to find someone to buy the ground. The Telegraph are saying they've got 2 weeks, and that they're in talks with potential investors of running the complex. This is after that they've filed an intention of the administrators. Now, I believe that the reason that they file notice for administrators is to give them time so they can find someone to invest, which is what they did with the Wasp side of things, the playing side of the field. they appointed, they said that they were going to appoint an administrator. That gave them a few weeks grace, and I think they've done that so they can let us play football, but also let the World Cup carry on as well, and then everything else that's going on. So, I mean, if we're going to get investors, I mean, it's got to be. I believe it's got to be someone that wants to buy the club and buy the ground. I can't see it running a separate entity again. Can you?
Yeah, it's weird because obviously you look at it now, you look at the different parties. The NEC group, like we talked about last week, are just going to want the ground. They've got no interest in Coventry City or the Wasps, but they've gone really quiet. There's not really been anything about them, but that might be a good thing because you don't really want immediate. I think always if it's very in the media, then it's kind of, you think, why is it all in the media? I think the best deals are normally done under wraps. You've got obviously Mike Ashley. He would probably potentially want all three, but my understanding from reading what I've heard from a few people that Ashley's out the question for Wasps unless they somehow get to stay in the Premiership, which is very, very unlikely. So he would potentially be Cov and the CBS. And then obviously you've got the McAvoy one, which would be Cov and the CBS. At the moment, I don't see anyone who wants to buy Wasps, but there obviously is somebody based on what Vaughan said. So that's where it's all a bit of a mystery on it. So yeah, and then if they want Wasps, they're going to want the ground. But then I don't know. Maybe it is a big scam that if they go into administration with the ground, they get the ground on the cheap. But then I don't know how you can buy the ground yourself when you already own it. So yeah, it's all a bit too much complex. We need who's an expert on it.
Yeah, we've got to get someone on regarding that, haven't we? I mean, tried to get a Wasp fan on tonight, but he's on holiday, so unfortunately we couldn't get their side of the story, which would have been nice. But Mick's gone here. The ground is falling down. There's big structural cracks. They're talking about 25 million to fix it. I can't see it. Well, yeah, it could be that much, but I mean that seems
It does look
quite steep.
dated, Miles.
It does look dated. Yeah,
It
it
does.
needs a good clean. Everything needs painting again. It does look dated, doesn't it?
It needs a sound system that works as well. That'd be a
Yeah.
good start as well. That would be a massive start. But yeah, it needs investment. But if it's the cash cow or golden egg like Vaughan was selling it out to be on CWR, then yeah, they'll have plenty of people. But it's whether it's the price, I think, and also it's the current climate. You're not going to have people pay over the odds. They're going to probably want to lowball it and get it dirt cheap. I mean, obviously, there's the interesting rumor that we had in our group chat that apparently Sisu are trying to have the hands in both pies, so to speak. They've got a hand trying to get it themselves, but they're also open to doing a deal with someone for the club and allegedly for the ground. But we'll see. The problem with that is that they're just going to wait and wait and wait, and someone's going to gazump them again. Like Wasps came in totally out the left field last time and surprised them.
I mean, Mick also put, by the way, Glenn, I know you live in Bedworth. It's Bedworth.
It's better.
Not Bedworth.
Yeah, it's better.
That's the funny side of things. I mean, rumours were flying around at the weekend that Coventry Building Society are looking at buying it and then giving Sisu a mortgage on it. But I can't see that happening. I mean, that's a huge gamble, surely, for a building society, fork out the money and then, pass the monthly onto Sisu that are don't like paying money, really, do they? They like to get things on the cheap. I mean, I can't see that one happening.
I can't see that. I think probably it's very similar to the whole thing with Wasps. We're going back to London rumor that was going around on Sunday. I think it's people probably putting 2 and 2 together and making 5. I can't see that happening myself. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. There's definitely a few twists in it. And Vaughan obviously still thinks they've got a chance of doing something. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a lot going around about Mike Ashley. There's rumour that he's filed for planning permission for a warehouse in Rugby or that way. So he's apparently moving his warehouse from, I think it's Mansfield way down to over here, allegedly. So he's going to have a local interest, isn't he, on it? So yeah, it'll be intriguing to see what happens, but I don't think it's all done and dusted.
I think your dad's popped up here. No, not that one. It moved. So, came with beliefs, left with empty pockets. Yeah, I think someone said on ITV News last week when they first announced that it was going to happen this week. I think someone on ITV said that he got asked the question, the news reporter, do you think it was the move to Coventry? It was a bit too ambitious. I mean, it was a massive, massive gamble, wasn't it?
It was a massive gamble that, if you look at it, if COVID hadn't happened and I hadn't booted Cov out, it possibly would have paid off. I think do you have to say they've been unlucky? If you look at the current, what's happened in the last 3 years since they've been basically gone from one crisis to another, haven't they? That's the problem with it. They've had COVID, then they've had obviously the cost of living. They've had obviously the royal family and all that. Then obviously the Queen passing away. Then they've obviously had the issues with now obviously looking at the gates have dropped because obviously people aren't going to travel. They've had train strikes and everything like that. So yeah, they've pretty much had anything that could go wrong with them. And you're not going to get. Rugby fans are probably not as diehard as football fans. That they will probably go and watch any game of rugby if they have a choice of like 100-mile drive up to Cov to watch Wasps, or they could go and watch a game at Harlequins or Saracens nearby. They'll probably go and watch that because it's easier to travel, and they kind of cut back on the encouragement to get people to go there, like the free coaches, the transport from the train station to go to the game. I mean, even the car parking. I mean, the car parking's gone up. I mean, I remember how much it used to be. I mean, it's gone up a couple of quid, even the cheap places. I mean, I know some of the places, I think they were charging 15 quid for Cov games, so they ain't going to be much cheaper for Wasp games. It's a lot of money when you think about it.
Well, I mean, Fetter's come in here and he said, "Thank God for the win on Saturday," and I think he's probably saying that because he's probably feeling the worst that the doors might be locked after 10 days' time. So, thank goodness we have got a win under our belts because it might start the season again. But I mean, you're saying that about the parking and the rail and everything, and about everything that's gone up. I heard as well at the weekend that to buy a Wasp shirt, who's Hummel, you're looking at 90 quid for a Wasp shirt. I mean, ours are 40, what are ours, 45, 50? And they're charging £90 for a rugby shirt. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just like plain robbery, isn't it?
Really, their stuff is expensive. Rugby's always been expensive. And I mean, I think even for the Northampton game, which was their last game, I think their cheapest adult ticket was 23 quid. And I think they used to do like under 11s were free, obviously, like we did with JSBs. If you paid the so that wasn't cheap. And yeah, the problem is they're no longer the big show in town, if you know what I mean. They came as the main attraction there. Coventry City weren't the main attraction. Now Coventry City are back as the main attraction in town. So yeah, that's the positive with it. I think it's almost gone. It's flipped the other way. You could have a scenario in theory that Cov owns CBS and Wasps are tenants.
Yeah,
it's not impossible that that's going to happen. I think the interesting one is what the council do, and I think nobody knows because I think the council are on I'm probably on a bit of a sticky wicket that they've got to make the right choice because they don't want to screw up again and end up getting voted out when the election comes around next time.
I mean, Mark Reed's done here. He's gone. Do you think anyone will pay what Sisu want for City? Well, I think what they've got to take into consideration is they've got to get the ground and the club. So, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, there's rumours flying around. Joyce Apala wants 100 million for the club. Well, I'm not being funny. We're not even worth anywhere near that. But I mean, will have you heard any what price she wants for the club or what? Have you heard anything, Glenn? Because the last time I heard it was 100 million, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. So
I don't think you'd get that much. You almost look at it now. You've got two sporting teams in Coventry. Neither of them own the ground. Neither of them have actually got any. Well, Cov have got more assets than Wasps because we've got players under contract. Wasps have got nobody under and no one actually under contract there. So you've just literally got a brand name and probably any training gear items they've bought. They don't even own the training ground, much similar to Gov. The training ground's under somebody else's totally different thing. So Wasps haven't actually got any assets. Unless I think as the CBS is under a different part of the holding group, it's not actually going to be the same deal on it. And you look at Cov, we don't own the ground. Brighton's not owned by us, basically. We're renting it. We don't get any match day revenue. So yeah, it's quite similar to it. But yeah, I think 100 million would be very, very silly. I mean, I don't know how much Bournemouth got taken over for recently. I mean, I doubt it might be that figure, but I think if we had the ground, I could see 100 million would be realistic because you could make a lot of money out of the CBS if you marketed it right.
I mean, Mick says it here. He says, I think they won't get much for it. Does the sale money go to the bondholders? I think if they're going to sell it, I think, I mean, they've allowed 10 days, 12, 14 days to sell the ground. No one in their own right mind is going to buy a stadium that is on the verge of going into administration because they'll get it cheaper, won't they?
Yeah, I think basically if it goes into administration, I think the bondholders basically get screwed and get nothing. That's my understanding of it. I might be wrong, but yeah, I would suspect that, especially with the way the world is at the moment, you're going to want to get it as cheap as possible.
Yeah,
I think maybe what Vaughan's hoping for is, like we said last week, a bidding war. I think that's the only chance, but I think a lot of them will probably just hang fire on it.
I think, yeah, definitely. I think people will hold on until they go into administration and get it for a steal. Webby's on from from Tenerife. Yeah, look, Webby's on. He's just gone trigger happy here on his keyboard, so I'll just quickly run through his. See you on the 12th of November. Cov QPR. Webby, slow down, mate. He's in a box. What, on the pitch? See you in Dillon's before. And then what else has he got? Oh, flipping it, Webby. You're a keyboard warrior tonight. I've got top info. Watch this space. Well, what is it? Tell us. What do you mean you can't say online? Of course you can. Tell us. This is Sky Blue Fans TV. You got to tell us everything, mate. Sisu, CBS then sold to two top buyers within 2 weeks. 2 offers on the table, and they won't. They want to sell 100%. That's what he says. Your dad's come on again. Do we believe Sisu after the history they have with CCFC? I mean, do you believe it?
I would be very surprised if they didn't try and get the CBS. That it wouldn't fit in with the whole strategy and their tactics. Like we said last week, why would you go after a house, literally get it sold to somebody else, and then it becomes available a couple of years down the line? It's perfect. What you want is your dream house, and then not go for it. It doesn't make any sense. But I would suspect if Sisu are going to do it, they'll do it very, very slowly and learn the lessons from last time on it, and they'll play the game quite well. And I could see that. I think if we did get the CBS back, we'd become a massive, attractive proposition. And with the World Cup break, there is time to do a takeover, and it's not going to affect the team. So that is actually quite a logical thing to do. You get the CBS, and then you just have a ready baked deal to go and do it.
And just in time for the January transfer window as well. So Feta said, haven't heard it from me, but Mike Ashley was spotted at the CBS about 3 or 4 days ago. Make of that what you will. Yeah, I've heard that one as well. Yeah, I heard that on Saturday, to be fair. Now, listen, we're just going to take a quick short break. Stay with us. We've got a big announcement to make to you all. And this is whoever's watching, this is your first chance to see it. It's been in the making for the last couple of weeks, but Sky Blue Fans TV, we've all put our heads together and we've got a brand new logo, everyone. And if you want to watch us, follow us, subscribe, this is your chance to. And this is a premiere of our new logo. Here we go. And there you go. That's our brand new logo. I don't know what you all make to that. Give us a comment. What do you think? We've all put our heads together. Glenn, what do you reckon? He's gone. Glenn, you're gone. You vanished. Oh, he's back. No, he ain't. He's gone again. Glenn, stop going.
I'm back.
What do you reckon, mate?
I'm back.
What do you reckon to that?
I like it. It's a good job by Anthony. It's a good job by Anthony who's done it for us. So yeah, I really like it actually. It's grown on me.
Yeah, a big shout out really to I'm trying to find his details. Where's he gone? I've lost his details.
Anthony
there
Hawks.
it is. That's it. Anthony Hawks, photographer. So if you're looking for someone to do any logos for you, just get in touch with Anthony Hawks. I just thought you get the sneak preview tonight of that one. So that'll be going out on all socials very shortly. So please give us a subscription and follow on all those social media channels. So let's get back to this conversation then. Nation Radio Coventry. It's a waiting game now, I suppose, isn't it? To see what happens. I mean, the big thing for me is that, yes, it's a waiting game, but we've just got to get these games under our belts and get some points on the board.
Yeah, I think you've just got to kind of just put the CBS situation to one side. The focus is on Wednesday night, and I think hopefully it'll get some people up there to get behind the team on Wednesday night. And it should, I don't want to say celebration because that's wrong, but it's an unwanted distraction that is off the table for the next rest of the season, because Wasps aren't going to play another game at the CBS, so we haven't got an excuse to blame the pitch. The pitch is out the question now on it, so we can focus on football. The stuff that goes on off the pitch, we've got no control over who Wasps sell to. We've got no control over who the CBS owners are. If Sisu try and get it and someone outbids them, there's not a lot we can do about it. So we just got to focus on football, look forward to Wednesday night, have a good atmosphere. I'm sure there'll be a few songs going about the Wasps from Singer's Corner, and hopefully we win and get 3 points, and we get Cov talked about for the right reasons, not about the wrong stuff, which it has been most of this season. It's been nothing positive really bar the last few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Saturday definitely gave everyone a boost. I think I've seen a video of the lads coming out the changing rooms this morning. It was Panzo was absolutely buzzing. I loved his comment the other night as well about the Cardiff fan posting beat Coventry, beat QPR and draw whatever, and he just put, look at that one again. Webby's gone 2 offers. Ashley favourite at the moment. Webby has also gone brilliant. That's about the logo. That would be a nice comment there. We've got Mick as well again. Looks the dogs be lads. Thanks, Mick. Glad you like it. Cheers, buddy. Nations Radio, good. Good? What do you mean good? Have a word. It's brilliant.
Fantastic.
It's the dogs.
It's amazing.
It's the dogs Mick's just said. How can you just say good? Come on, Nations Radio. Have a word. By the way, if you do want to listen to Nations Radio, it's really good. It's online and you can get it. It's all in COV. The other night he was playing all the tunes from the promotion party, which was pretty good, actually. I was listening to it. It's very good indeed. Tony's doing a great job with that. Well done, mate. Mark Reed, nice one, lads. Cheers. Thank you, mate. And he's come up with this comment. Is the situation exciting or terrifying? Oh. Exciting or terrifying? Oh, I think it's exciting. Yeah,
the
potential.
Exciting.
Yeah.
What could happen? What could happen is good. The terrifying thing would be that it just all goes sideways and we get some absolute horrible owner in it. And
yeah,
I don't think any of the three people in the mixed are going to be that bad an owner. I don't think. I think even the NEC group. I know they're probably not going to be ideal, but I don't think they're smart. They're business people. They're not. They're not going to be stupid. They're not going to alienate the local community.
No, I think they've done a good job at the NEC as well, haven't they? I mean, that arena now is. I mean, having some shows on there, aren't they? I think Robbie Williams was there last night, wasn't he? I think Vic went. I think, didn't she? So, you know, they have some good things going on. And as you say, they are a bit got business heads on them. We've got a Paul Webb, exciting for sure. Yeah, I've been watching that Wrexham documentary. I've finished it now. I mean, I've been watching that and watching what they've done. And I think I said this last week to you, didn't I? I said that we need someone to come in and sit down with the fans and say, right, this is our plan. Not just to come in and hide behind doors. We need someone to come in, sit us all down, us to go to a meeting, and you know, in a big hall, say the CBS in the big hall, them to get up on stage, the new owners, and to sit there or stand there and tell us their intentions, like they did at Wrexham. They've said to the locals that the first year was all about getting the community together. Yes, it would have been great to go up first time, to get the community together, to get the buzz around the place again. And then their aim is this season is to go up and get promoted. I mean, that's what we need, don't we? We need someone to come in and sit with us and tell us what they want, what they're going to do with the club, not just come in, shut the door and run the club. We want them to communicate with us, don't we? Because I think CISA have gone a little bit quiet lately, haven't they? I mean, I thought we would have heard something, what's been going on from them about what is going on with the Wasps. I thought they would have come out and had a little statement, really, and Joyce Sapala would have come out and had a little word or whatever, but nothing's been said. So I would like an owner to come in, sit down with us all and tell us what their plan is, just like what I watched on the Wrexham, videos. I mean, did you see that, Glenn?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of them speaking and when the National League and stuff have done stuff for them. I think the only thing you've got to be careful with is you look at the fanfare that the Hull City owner got. He got a massive fanfare and he's brilliant, he's brilliant, he's brilliant. And then the manager he appointed flopped. They were going to get Bilic and then they didn't get Bilic. And now they're dropping like a stone down the Championship, which they've done for a few times when they've been in the Championship. And they've got loads and loads of foreign players. And I would think you lose that bit of the going gets tough. People get stuck in. And I think that's the only thing I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want somebody coming in and they'd lose that English British core that you have. I think that's the only thing Hull have probably done. They've almost gone a bit like Football Manager or FIFA, where you go on and there's like, I've got so many coins, I'll go and buy Messi, I'll go and buy Ronaldo, I'll go and buy blah blah. And it's like, screw the team shape and tactics and everything like that. So, and he is very vocal and very good with the fan base, but I almost think he's too much. I think you've got to kind of have that happy happy medium. And I think that's what they do well. They're not there all the time, but they know what's going on. Darragh McAntony as well. He's not there all the time. He is quite vocal, and he will say it as it is. But if he makes a bad mistake, I mean, I know they had the problem with the FA Cup ticket prices a while back. I think it was last season. He fronted up and admitted it and said, "Look, hold my hands up. One mistake, we'll sort it." Blah blah blah, and did it. And I think there's too many other owners who'd hide behind that. So you want somebody who's like a happy mix of all of them. He probably buys into the local community, will stand up and answer people, but also knows that it's a football club and it's not like you're running playing a video game, and you just sign whoever you like on it.
But don't you think, though, having Mark Robins and Ady there, they would sort of get that across to the new owners, because they've done it with Joyce Sapala, haven't they? They've got her involved. He said how he wanted to run things, how he wanted things being done, and obviously they've left him to it with no targets or anything. I mean, he's the person that can keep that morale going and keep the positive attitude towards all the fans and everything. Surely he can pass that message on. Do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the key. You have a manager who has knowledge of the league. I mean, that's a good thing. Wrexham did. They went and got an experienced head in Phil Parkinson. Not probably everyone's cup of tea. I know he's got a bit of a reputation, but he's been relatively successful. He's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. That's the good thing with Robins. Robins is key. Maybe that's what Hull made the mistake of. They went and got someone from overseas. They've been talking to a load of foreign managers. You almost think they probably want someone who's a bit, not old-fashioned, but like a Warnock or someone like that. You know me. Will get them organised, get them shape, get them solid. Almost do what we've done, make them hard to beat. But he wants them to be like winning every game 4-3. And that doesn't work. You've got to be solid on it.
Fetter's come up as far as Wednesday night goes, after a gritty performance on Saturday, feeling quite positive going into Wednesday night. The togetherness of last season that we have lacked this season looks like it was back on Saturday. I totally agree with that, especially at the end of the game. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, what was it like? Because you watched it on telly. What was it like, Glenn, coming across on the telly?
Yeah, the atmosphere was good. I think it wasn't the best game of football, but I think we were the team that looked like we had the bit of quality. And I think that's the thing in the Championship. If you can stay in games, we're going to have that bit of quality, and we're going to have players coming back who will give us that quality that will win us games. It's just if you're shooting yourselves in the foot, which we have been doing a lot, and we've cut out mistakes, and even when we make a mistake, we're getting away with it. I mean, there's a couple of times that Faz come for headers and it ricocheted off people, but we got back and we defended it. Whereas early on in the season, it would just fall straight for the player. The player would go through it, clean through, and stick it in the top corner. So yeah, we definitely look a lot more solid. And you're right, the beliefs there. I think the fans believe in the team a bit more. I think we were almost, especially I think after the game at Burton, it kind of shell shocked everybody that this is our team, and we were just absolutely rubbish. And then I think we just kind of took us a few games to kind of get over that hangover from it. And yeah, we as Mick says, it'd be nice to see the CBS rocking. It's a midweek game. Sheffield United, they're never dull games when we play them. There's a bit of spice to the occasion, and I don't mind putting one over them. They always have a few opinions about Cov. Let's put it that way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, so let's go on to some of these comments. One good thing: pitch should be in better condition come next April. I think you mentioned that earlier, didn't you, Glenn, about the pitch? There's only going to be one more game of rugby, and I think that's Friday night, isn't it? And then we've got 4 days till we play on it again next Tuesday, isn't it? So gives it a bit of respite. We got here, Mick. Please God, we don't want another Tim Fisher. Nah, we won't get another one of them, mate. Don't worry about that. Your dad again. What happens. Hopefully The cards drawn are aces, and these great fans rewarded for their loyalty through bad, good times. New faces could see road to Premier League or Prem edge closer. Yep, could be. I like that. Mark Reed, how good would it be to have some cash to spend on players? I mean, that'd be nice, wouldn't it, Glenn? To if a new owner comes in and says to Mark Robbins, "Go and get who you want," instead of him saying, "Oh, we've missed another one, we've missed another one, we've missed another one." He's able to go and get who he wants. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the exciting thing. If we can just hit that good bit of momentum till the World Cup break, we set ourselves up nicely. If we can get out the bottom three, if we can get clear, you mean who knows what's going on? There's always one team that goes on a run from the bottom, isn't there? It's always been over the last few seasons. I think Barnsley a few years back. I think Swansea last season went on a great run. You've obviously got Forest as well. There's always teams they'll get their act together, and we're not miles away. I think if we have our best team out on the pitch, we are a match for anyone. And like you said, Paul Webby's just said there, Roseford Doyle was a master stroke, and he's made big calls, Robbins, and he's got them right. And I think he's kind of got the faith back of him with the fans with some of his, like I say, the 4 subs against Burnley, the calls he made. I think maybe he kind of lost a bit of the fan base when he'd made the decisions against Norwich, where he dropped Vic, he dropped Goddard, and people are like, what's he doing? What's he doing? What's the plan? You mean? But it's worked now. Bidwell looks superb.
Yeah.
He's exactly what we need in a dogfight. Someone who's going to get you a 7 out of 10 performance. You don't want somebody. I love Maatsen to bits, but Maatsen isn't the sort of player you want in a relegation dogfight, which is what we're in at the moment. I don't think we are a relegated team to the worst 3 teams in the league, but we are in a relegation dogfight. Till we're clear of the bottom 3, till we hit 50 points, it's a scrap. And Maatsen's very good going forward, but Bidwell just gets stuck in. I mean, what was he doing with that header? I mean, it's not 85th minute, and he's running forward to get on the end of a ball to head it. I mean, I can't believe he hasn't scored for us yet, because he's had so many chances and not scored yet. He's like, I don't know whether him or Dabo's going to score. See, one of them's got to score soon.
Dabo's got to score soon, surely. But I mean, going on to that about Rose, Mark Robbins did say after the game that he could tell that Doyle was struggling a little bit. Obviously, with the amount of games that he's been playing and being away on international duty, the probably occasion got to him a little bit, and he thought, I need to pull him out. I think he did that last season as well when we went to Cardiff, if you remember. Rose was having a shocker, and at half time, he brought Jake Clark-Salter on because he knew Rose was having a bad game. So he can touchline what's going on, and I think that gives I think that just gives us as back into the fans, as you said about the 4 substitutes last week as well against Burnley. Obviously, we're going off the subject a little bit. We were talking about Wasps, but we got back onto Sky Blues, which is great. Wednesday's team, Webby. I would probably start with the same team, to be honest with you. I'd probably leave Doyle out, just give him another rest, ready for Saturday's game, probably. And then I think like guys last night on the pod said, leave Hamer on the bench just to teach him a little lesson, really. Don't, just because he's served a 4-match ban, don't bring him straight back in because you think he's, number 1 star player. I think you leave him on the bench for Wednesday night and just say, you can't just walk straight back into this team, because I thought Eccles on Saturday in the second half absolutely grew into the game, and he's got some pace on him, old Eccles, hasn't he, Glenn?
He's got an engine. He's got an engine on him. He's
yeah.
He's good, and that's what we need. We always like having a homegrown player come through. We've got Bayliss, who I'm really glad to see he's doing well at Shrewsbury. Obviously, Shipley's gone to Shrewsbury, doing well there. You've obviously got Callum Wilson, Madison. We love a homegrown player that comes through, and we kind of been waiting for that. And Eccles has done what I thought Howley would. I thought Howley was going to be the one who would break through, purely on the fact that his performances had kind of been better for the under-23s, and Eccles had kind of got himself pigeonholed as the right wing back, and I don't think that's the best position for him. But I love his energy. He suits our style of play in the midfield because he'll get stuck in, and he's got that little bit of an edge to him now where he's a bit more vocal. I mean, he's having a go with the ref about a few decisions, and I always thought he might have been a bit like not shy or quiet, but probably not a bit introverted. Whereas he seems like he's got on with the lads, and that Waghorn was taking the mickey out of him on his interview, weren't he? Which was hilarious.
I just think it's brilliant. I think the young lad, like you said, Howley, I thought he was going to be one coming through the ranks, but I think Eccles, it's like I said last season at Stoke, I think that was Eccles' best game for us until he got injured. And I swear blind that was a penalty, but that's last season anyway. But we've just got to try and hold on to these youngsters, haven't we? I mean, he's just going to grow stronger and stronger. And just look at how Maddison's doing now. It's just amazing, isn't it, to be honest with you? Start Rose or Doyle? I've said Rose. What do you reckon, Glenn?
I think he'll start Rose. I think the only logic to change it is if Robbins has a plan. If the team on Saturday was selected as he basically looked at the games and had a plan for each game. If he thinks our best way of winning the game is going back to the box and leaving Godden out and maybe bringing Palmer in, or leaving Allen out and bringing Hamer in, whatever. If that's his, if he wants to change the winning team, that's his decision. But I don't think he can leave. I don't think he'll leave it. He shouldn't leave Eccles out based on his performance. There's other people he could leave out and make changes. I think Eccles has to play on Wednesday night because he's a shirt. And that's the simple thing. And I think Sheaf's on 4 yellows anyway, so Sheaf's going to get banned soon. I think Kelly and possibly O'Hare might play tomorrow because I think that we've got Burnley under 21s at the Higgs. So I think you'll probably see a few of them play tomorrow, which will probably be that. So hopefully O'Hare, because I think we all want him back.
I see what you mean. Yeah. So we got Mark from Ipswich. Good evening. Great show to us all. Take a look at Ipswich Town new owners. They've been honest with the fans, gave them a fair budget, improvements to the stadium and the training ground, now getting 26 to 28,000 crowd at home. I mean, that's a fair point. Them owners have come in and really put their money where their mouth is, and they've really improved that club from when we were playing them a couple of seasons, 4 seasons ago now, isn't it? They've really come a long way. I mean, they're knocking on the door for top of the league, aren't they? I think they went on a real good unbeaten run until a couple of weeks ago, but I mean, they've really shown what owners can do, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've changed the ownership over, haven't they? I think they had Mark Evans, who was the owner, and he moved, and obviously he'd had Lambert, McCarthy. I think they'd had Paul Cook there as well, and none of them had really worked out for them to any degree. And they went and took a punt on someone. I think he was at Man United when Kieran McKenna, and he's been a real gem for them. And I think they were talking about him potentially maybe being in for West Brom, or I think even Middlesbrough, they were floating his name around for that job. So that just shows you what you can get when you've got the right infrastructure on it. And that, I suppose, comes back to, you look at going back full circle to Wasps. Wasps probably didn't have the infrastructure. They had a manager who had seen them for ages. They got rid of him. They got his number 2 in, and they've kind of never progressed as they wanted to. And they've gone for these name signings. I mean, they were signing players on huge contracts this summer. I mean, how can you ethically do that? You're in trouble, and you're paying people to come over from other countries, from abroad, to bring the family over, knowing you're not financially stable. That just seems pretty much wrong on so many levels to me.
Yeah, it's, as I say, it's you feel so bad, that you feel so sorry for all those people, don't you? I mean, it must be heartbreaking for them, especially going in today and then being told, by the way, we're shutting the doors. It's got to be just and we're coming up to Christmas in a couple of months as well, aren't we? So, I mean, it's just going to be tough times, and times are getting tougher as the year goes on, especially with the. We won't get into politics, but the way the country's being run at the moment, I think Mickey Mouse could do a better job, to be honest with you. Paul Webby says Rose 100% starts. Keno Tomo says, who employs the ground staff? Well, I do know that our ground staff go in and prepare the pitch, don't they?
Yeah, I believe we employ people. I think obviously the other staff would fall under the ACL group, which is basically owned by Wasps Holding, so it's part of Wasps Holding Group. So they're still actively, and I don't think they've got rid of any of their staff. I think all the catering, etc., and all that is still fine.
Under ACL,
I don't think there's any concerns over that. It's just obviously who takes over the ownership of it. That'll be interesting.
And then also, Keno's gone again. We need to be careful. ACL not in admin, and look who the directors are of that business.
I can tell you who the directors are because I know exactly who he means. Derek Richardson, who was the owner of Wasps and has been the owner of Wasps for quite a while, and Nick Eastwood, who was, I think he was the CEO behind the move to Coventry, and I think he stepped down as a director recently. I'm sure he's gone. I'm sure that was in our group chat that said he'd gone recently. So yeah, they're two, and there's one other person I can't think of the name. There was three people that had it, because their current CEO owns I say current CEO. I don't know whether he's been made redundant. He owns the training ground, which wasn't originally under Richardson's name, and then it got moved over conveniently about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I think Eastwood left on Friday, didn't he, with the other director? Yeah. So let's get through some of these comments before we wrap it up for the night. Nations Radio said, "Oh, he shared the podcast. Oh, brilliant! Cheers, mate, on all his groups. Cheers, buddy. That's really appreciated." Mick says, "I saw that club has employed their own security and stewards. Is this due to the Wasps situation?" Yeah, I've heard that will be down to we had different stewards, didn't we, last week?
Yeah, the proper stewards, Miles, they'll be searching your bag.
Yeah, they searched it on Saturday. The ladies at the ground. It was quite funny, actually. Webby says, Eccles quality for the future. Yeah, definitely. Nations Radio, think Rose will start. Yeah, we've all gone with that one. He said Hamer will be back. Yeah, he will be back. I'm hoping that Robbins leaves him on the bench, to be honest with you. Mark Reed flying back to England first for the week, going to Stoke away. Can you recommend any pubs for the away fans at Stoke? Well, last season it was an early kickoff, wasn't it? And we just went straight in the ground. So I'm not too. There is a Harvester, I think, next door, but it's sort of on a little industrial estate. But just head towards the ground, and there'll be fans floating around everywhere, and you'll be able to follow us. We're bound to find a pub somewhere. Just look for the Sky Blue Tavern bus, and we'll just follow us. Like we'll find a pub to go, and we always do every week. Fetters, come on again. Eccles' best game in a Cov shirt was on Saturday. Reminds me of Sheaf, in the respect that Sheaf's first season with us, I wrote him off, but look at him now. Yeah, good point. A lot of people did write Sheaf off, didn't they? And just the way he plays now is unbelievable, isn't it? Glenn.
Yeah, it's good. I think Sheaf actually, Sheaf on Saturday actually stepped up to the plate and took a bit of leadership on and kind of managed the game quite well with Eccles. I think that's a good thing with Sheaf. I think Sheaf has stepped up a lot this season with Kelly not being around, O'Hare not being around, and obviously Hamer being missing. He's definitely upped his game, and he's definitely come on. I just wish he could score more.
Oh, yeah. It'd be nice if he could just bang a few more in. I'd love it. I think the fans will go mental as well. Webby's gone. Agree with Fetter. Eccles, similar to Sheaf. Fetter might read, there's one right next to the ground bed. Yeah, I think it's the Harvester, if I remember right. But we just went straight in the ground.
it's a fair old trek from the town centre up to
Yeah.
the ground. I think you have to
Yeah,
walk
but
up a canal, down a canal or something. Yeah, I've only ever parked at the industrial estate and gone down.
yeah. Your dad's on again, says ACL just signed a new deal with Panda Pop. Panda Pop. Do you know what I would like? If the ground does get taken over, I'd like Dillon's to sell their beer in the ground, because the beer in the ground's awful. I'm never having a beer in our ground again. Absolutely shocking. Mark Reed said, thanks, Feta. Oh, wrong one. That one. Mark Harrington, thanks for the invite tonight, Miles. Great listening roll on Wednesday. Cheers for listening yourself, mate. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Keno again, they might be confiscate the old Fools and Horses DVDs. Yeah, we had DVDs on Saturday, Glenn. Took the box set of Only Fools and Horses, and we watched Jolly Boys Outing on the way home. That's the time away, though, didn't it? It was great. What's this? Great pod, lads. Thanks a lot, Mick. Brilliant. Webby, agree. Great podcast. Play up Sky Blues, sunny Tenerife. Cheers. And the last one before we head off, because I'm going to go and watch a bit of telly, chill out. Evening from Aberdeenshire. Moved here 3 years ago. Not been to a game since. Miss it so bad, but hope to get to a game soon. Well, we hope to see you soon as well, Shoesmith Jones. Come and see us in Dillon's before. We'll have a chat with you on the live stream. And Nations Radio again, great show. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. Guys, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. I know we've had some bad news for some fans and, some staff with the Wasps going under. Let's just hope things could be sorted out about the CBS and, Cov City could still be playing there. Just a few future events. We've got a live stream Wednesday night. If you can't make it to the game, subscribe, follow us on YouTube and Twitter, also on Facebook and Instagram. And there's a live stream from Dillon's at 6:45. Thursday night will be a live stream again with Mark. And are you on Thursday, Glenn?
Hopefully so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to get a Stoke fan on. Yeah, we're trying to get a Stoke fan on to join us.
Yeah, brilliant. So Stoke fan, Glenn, Mark, probably Vic as well coming on. Talk about Wednesday night's game, also Stoke's game. And then next Sunday will be another live stream reviewing the Stoke game and also previewing the following week's game. I've lost who that is now, Glenn. Rotherham. That's it. That's our game in hand, isn't it? Rotherham.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Saturday live stream from outside Stoke City's ground. So if you can't make it there, just tune in again. That'll be about half an hour before kickoff. But thanks for listening, everyone. And, please subscribe, follow us, and, just give us a tick and just say you've watched us. And thanks for all your amazing comments tonight. Thanks to Glenn. Cheers, mate, for coming on. Absolutely superb.
Bring you some oatcakes back from Stoke on next Saturday.
Okay, no problems. Sort that one out. And I think we're having a Sky Blue Fans TV day out in Watford, aren't we?
We are. Unfortunately, I'm not going because the wife's at work, but I think everyone else is. So I'll be stuck at home watching it on a stream if I can, sadly. Good.
Well, it's not good that you're not going to be there. We're all going to miss you. And by the way, if you all want to get a logo made or anything like that, just get in touch with where's his details gone? I got it here. _Hawks_photography on Instagram. He's the guy that has done our new logo, and I'm going to see you out again with the slideshow of our new logo. Play up Sky Blues, and let's bring 3 points home on Wednesday night. Come on, City.
Come on, City.